You never really remember the beginning of a dream, do you? You always wind up right in the middle of what's going on. Dreams feel real while we're in them. It's only when we wake up that we realize something is actually strange.
You mustn't be afraid to dream a little bigger, darling.
What's the most resilient parasite? An idea. A simple little idea that would change everything. Give him the kick! Come back to reality. I have it under control. I'd hate to see you out of control. I'm ready.
Inception. In cinemas and IMAX.
Namaskar, Pranam. I welcome all of you once again on the platform of Pavitra with a very, very interesting concept which we've been doing for last 3 times. Braj Mohan Prabhu comes and speaks about various movies and gives us a new perspective to it. That's why it's been named Real to Real. But today we have somebody, a very, very special guest who's coming along with Braj Mohan Prabhu. And he was born and brought up in Delhi, studied in Dehradun, then came to this dream world to fulfill his dreams. Very, very, very beautiful person from inside and outside. I've known him for now a couple of years. And always, in spite of the success which he has achieved in his life, in his career, there is so much humility. Always, you can see a well-brought-up person from within. So I'm really honored today to known as Suryaputra Karan, part of Krishna from Suryaputra Karan, very famous. I know a friend of mine who was so very enamored by you being Krishna for that serial. It was amazingly, and the way you portrayed it. I know there is a story behind it. I don't know whether you'll be sharing it with us today or not, that how you got into that without aspiring to not exactly looking for it, but still Krishna wanted you to be the mouthpiece for him. So I welcome you on Pavitra for the first time, Saurabh. Saurabh Pandey, Suryaputra Karan's Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji, for such a humbling, introduction of mine. You are so kind, so wonderful, and uh, you know, uh, like आपकी जितनी तारीफ करूं उतना कम है, and but I'm very honored, by Pavitra and by everyone for inviting me here, for being a part of this. I'm grateful to be in association with such wonderful souls, and Braj Mohan Prabhuji. Uh, well, without a further ado, I would like to just start this, so because we have limited time, I guess. So, before we start, when I got to know about Braj Mohan Prabhuji and I read about him, um, that he is a genius monk. That's what I would say, because he is a MS from he's a MS from Illinois, Chicago University, in quantum physics, and he's IIT in Mumbai, and then he's a TED speaker. So, and there's a lot more which I'm sure that Sonia Mataji can post it on our group. If all our fans and all those people who are here, they want to know in detail. So I welcome all of you once again. And today I've been asked to be the host for this wonderful event, which is known as Real to Real Wisdom. And today we are going to discuss about this movie, Inception, in which Leonardo DiCaprio had starred, the Hollywood movie. The trailer was just played. However, I would like to see Braj Mohan Prabhuji, if he's here. Braj Mohan Prabhuji?
I'm here.
Yes,
here.
yes. So that is Braj Mohan Prabhuji, and to all the fans who are here of mine, I've been like constantly sharing it on my Instagram and Facebook page that come and join. So to all my fans also, I welcome them. So Prabhuji, that was a wonderful prayer which you did, and it just made my day, because it's almost 6 o'clock here in morning, in Canada, and it's I don't know, it is still morning, 6 o'clock, and there it's 8 o'clock. It looks like I'm still living in that movie Inception, because I just saw that movie a couple of hours back. Well, I had seen that movie earlier also, and at that time I did not think that okay, we are going to discuss about it, right? So just a few hours back I saw it with that point of view, that how can I relate it to Vedas and the stories we see and hear about that time difference, and the kind of dreams which we are living in. This, as per Vedas, it is said that this life is a big dream. And once when I was watching the movie, I could just it was I was getting goosebumps, because literally I was feeling that what I have read, what I have spoken, as an actor, when I got the opportunity to play Lord Krishna. And there also we in Srimad Bhagavatam also we speak so many things, where you get to know that okay, this is not it. There is so much more. There is a bigger picture out there, and which we are not aware of. We kind of relate ourselves to, we forget what the true reality is, and we tend to relate to ourselves to the Maya, the construct, the matrix, whatever we want to call it. And so as per Vedas also, it's said we are in Maya and we are living in Maya. And in the movie also, as I had seen, I would like to highlight a few points in the movie. And basically what happens is that people go into together, they are dreaming a big dream, and one of them is an architect, and they are planning to hack someone's mind and trying to put thoughts in it, influence him, and trying to put a story together. That construct, that world, whoever the architect is, the world can be manipulated, it can be destroyed, it falls apart, a new thing comes in, so many things are happening. And if you look at it in a practical perspective, however such drastic things are not happening just like movie, but in a way it is, natural calamities, from growing from a child to a manhood, and then dying as an old person. So there are so many questions we come up with. And that was a very interesting movie, Prabhuji, which you chose, that okay, this is the movie we should be discussing. So tell me, like, what would you like to say first? Like, why did you choose this movie? And then, I have my questions, set of questions, which I'm gonna bombard you with.
Thank you so much, Saurabh, and for being here with all of us for this real wisdom. And and more than anyone, I think you're the most apt person to be here from the real industry, and somebody who has such strong roots in our true tradition of the Vedas. And you are the best interface for discussing this. And
so kind of
hopefully, we'll really churn out some deep wisdom in this discussion. And as before, I always said that every movie that's made is based on the human psychology and the human struggles, and and people relate to that, what's happening, and when it is portrayed in a graphic way with what's happening in their lives, what's happening in their minds. And this is what almost everyone wants to know. Facebook's tagline is "What's on your mind," and Google wants to know through what you type, what's on your mind. And and most people that want to know what's in your mind, of course, the wife also wants to know what's in the mind of the husband. The husband wants to know. As I just read a quote that somebody sent me, that 80% of the husbands don't know why their wife is angry at them, and 20% of the husbands don't even know that she is angry at them.
I know that's a a very I think that'll be a dangerous thing to discuss who are married here about those.
Right. No, I'm not discussing about that. I'm just saying that the human struggles that we face when they are portrayed graphically, and that's what is dramatization. That's what is theatrics. That's what is the Broadway is all about. That the human struggles when they are shown on film, on screen, and along with that, the solutions that one can get into. Because many times when you're going through a situation, through a struggle, you're not able to see the whole picture. And that's why even in the Vedas and most of the scriptures, a story is portrayed with the similar struggle that you are facing. And because now you are an observer to the story, not part of the story, you're able to see the full picture. And then when the message is conveyed, when the solution is conveyed, you accept it without any prejudice about any particular role that is played in the movie. And same way, this particular movie, Inception, like last time we talked about being motivated, being true to our nature through the peaceful warrior, and how when we are not worried about the results, but about being true to the process, that's when we can achieve amazing results. The whole concept of Karma Yoga was what was in the peaceful warrior. And this one is a lot about introspection, is a lot about where are we going, and is the reality that I'm chalking out in my life, is it designed by me, or is it implanted by someone else?
Absolutely.
And Arjuna in the Gita was also so bewildered by what's happening in front of him that he just loses his mind, like as they say, the brain fade, and he just doesn't know what to do. And and at that time, Krishna awakens him to a reality which he was not aware of. And as Einstein says this, a problem cannot be solved at the same level of consciousness it is created. And so at a particular level of consciousness, we create issues unless we rise out, like in the movie, unless we go a step, a level up rather than going a level down, we'll not be able to find the solution. Just this, the whole corona situation that we're facing now, it is because of a utopian idea of human civilization, that we can just keep exploiting nature, we can just keeping doing whatever we want just for palate, and yes, the dream is going to work. But only when the dreams become a nightmare, that's when we start to really think that, is this what I've come for, I've designed for, and why is the dream that I am designing not working properly? Prabhupada gives this small example of a child making a castle on the sand at the beach, and that's his dream. That's what he's dreaming, a daydream, that he's making a castle. But because it's based on a non-existential platform, on a temporary platform, when his dreams get shattered, then he becomes so lost. The child starts to cry. Almost all of us might have cried when our balloons burst, when our dreams burst, when our
toys got
burst,
lost.
toys get lost.
Yeah.
And so in many ways, the movie Inception really talks about this point. Are you dreaming? Are you misunderstanding the reality? Are you portraying your own version of reality? You're making your perception as a reality, or are you trying to see truly what's out there?
So, Prabhuji, as per what I have read, I'll try to match a few points here. Okay, that is right. What you just said, that's absolutely right. That how we perceive the world and how we are living, and but as per what I have read and what I have heard, and from many people in Veda, and in fact in one of the books also, where Srila Prabhupada ji says that when you are dreaming, this life is a big dream. Okay, and you are dreaming this life, and do the best you can, serve Krishna, be a righteous person, do your karma, dharma, and all what is being given to you in your power. But then he says that when you go to sleep, you forget this body, you start relating that factual body, and you think that is your reality. And then when you come back, you are back into a bigger dream. And then when you will leave this body, and if you have prepared yourself, if you have served, if you have lived your life consciously, you can go back to Godhead, which is the real, to the kingdom of God, which is the ultimate reality. So otherwise, we will keep taking birth in this temporary world. We'll try to look for permanence in this temporary world, and then calamities will fall upon us. We'll feel sad. We'll go through the highs and lows of life, and it is indeed a suffering. So as per the movie also, when I was watching, there is also an aspect of time that in Devlok the time is different. In Krishna Lok, Goloka Vrindavan time is different. So here also in the movie, when they go in the first level of the dream, it's like the real world. The 5 minutes of real world, it gives them almost an hour in the dream world, and then they go even dream into dream. When they do that, it expands to almost a week, and then in that, if they go even deeper, it turns into 10 years, okay, a decade. Now this is very fascinating, because all of this is very much mentioned in our Vedas. There are many stories, many instances we can find that such things exist, and these are reality, though it's not it might be visible to a person who's a yogi, who's a very elevated soul, who can see beyond the physical. But I truly believe that all this thing exists. But my point is, why all this thing is existing, why the Maya is existing, what, okay, in the movie, Leonardo DiCaprio and his team, he wants to get back to his children. Okay, he has lost his wife, and he wants to go where he will find happiness. Similarly, our challenge in our life is that we should aspire to go back to God's kingdom. Okay, just like Leonardo DiCaprio wants to go into dreams after dreams and do his karma and his dharma, whatever it takes to get back to his kids. We are doing whatever we can in this dream, to get back to Godhead. But many people, in the movie, as you see, there are a lot of people who are the projection of his subconscious mind, the other people. Okay, they are kind of lost. They don't know. They are just doing their thing. There is no one motive of living life. Okay, so there are a lot of people in general in our world where they are just living, they're just eating, sleeping, mating, and protecting, defending, as Srila Prabhupada ji also says, and it is being said in the books. So this is what it is, and but what is the whole purpose of the Maya, the dream? Why to even get into a dream when you have to eventually go back? Like, why all this happening?
uh, Dreams are, there are two aspects to dreams, and what you expect. Why does Krishna even create this whole situation where we can get into a dream world, an illusion, and an illusion into another illusion. Now the
Yeah,
essential
because it's like kind of discomfort, right? It's a
yes,
lot
yes,
of
yes.
discomfort for
Yeah.
people. Why do we even choose this kind of discomfort?
Now, one of the aspects of happiness, one of the aspects of a vibrant life is creativity, is imagination. Now, the the spiritual world is an ecstatic place. Is a place, is the eternal reality is not a boring, is not a dull dungeon, but it is something that all the devotees are coming up with newer and newer techniques, newer and newer ways to bring up excitement. And as we know that variety is the mother of enjoyment. So
Mhm.
so in order to have variety, in order to have that there is that element of creativity, there is an element of imagination. And if that element is not there of imagination, imagine how not would a human being would have made any progress in his no. I was just reading one hearing about a novel from one of our senior devotees. This novel was written in 1800s, called as 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. And in 1800s, this novel is all about a a submarine that was invented to be able to go and destroy the other ships and go and do deep sea mining. Now in 1800s, even the ships were not so well developed. What to speak of submarines? And this guy imagined this whole story, the whole thing. And then obviously at that time it was a something far out, something, a sci-fi movie, sci-fi novel. But then later in 1900s, somebody thought, hey, if somebody can imagine that, then you can achieve that. And that's what they say, believing in something that is not currently there is so much a part of achievement, is so much a part of going to get there. And and as Steve Jobs or someone says that if you can imagine something, then you can go there.
That's Steve Jobs.
And so
Steve Jobs.
therefore, yeah, that's
If you can imagine
so
something, you
for our
can make it
growth.
into a reality.
Yes.
Yeah.
So for our growth, for our enjoyment, imagination portraying something that is not truly here is needed. But then but the whole basis of that imagination, of that innovation in the eternal realm is that of service. And but when the basis, instead of innovation, imagination, is not service, but it becomes self praise, that you want to get the attention, you want to be the one who wants to get all the attention. And so when that shift happens, in the basis of that innovation, the basis of your growth, then it starts to become a dream. Because as Krishna in the second chapter of the Gita, he says this, that how do you know what is real and what's unreal? I'm sure, can everyone raise your hands if you want to know that answer? And
Absolutely,
I had
all
asked,
of us.
and Krishna gives the answer in the second chapter itself. And I had asked one of the hosts, co-hosts, to show that verse. If it's possible, can you put that out so that everyone can see? So this verse is second chapter, verse 16. And personally, when I was studying at IIT and was getting into quantum mechanics, and where even your common sense was challenged, and that's what one of the postulates was, that if you just think the way you think in classical physics, then you'll never be able to understand this whole new dimension of physics, which is quantum physics. And so when I came up across this verse, this was mind blowing. And this verse still intrigues me as every verse in the Gita. There's so much depth in it. So, but this is the verse that tells us how do we know that the thing that I'm in now, is it a dream or is it real? In the movie, there was this totem that
Yeah,
Cobb
it keeps
has, that
rotating
DiCaprio
non-stop.
has,
Yeah,
and he just
yeah,
rotates it, and if it
yeah.
doesn't stop, then he knows it's unreal, because it can't happen with the laws of physics. And so that was the totem. And the so many philosophers all across history have asked this question. And there is this famous dialogue that once a philosopher, he woke up in the morning and he asked one of his friends that in the last night I was dreaming that I was a butterfly, and as a butterfly I was going flower to flower in different gardens, and I was so happy. And now that I woke up, I have no things to do and so many chores, and this is not something that I would want to do. So is it that I'm a butterfly having a nightmare of being a philosopher, or or is or am I a philosopher who is having this dream of being a butterfly? Because
Wow.
one thing about dreams, as Prabhupada and also in the movies, is that it is said is that you can't know something is a dream as long as you're part of it. Even in the morning, where we all have dreams. And when we are part of the dream, we have real changes in our body. Our heart starts to palpitate if something, fear is happening in our dreams. Our body starts to become anxious based on the kinds of dreams that we have. So the dream, although it's unreal, it has real effects on our body. But when we are in the dream, we just can't know. Someone else has to wake up. And the only sense that's truly awake when we are dreaming is our ears. And that's why we all put alarm. We don't put a alarm lights that at morning 6 o'clock or 4 o'clock let there be lights that of course, even when lights are put up, maybe we may get bothered, but most effective one that which we all use is an alarm clock. And even in the dead of the night, if there is a sound, then the subconscious is attentive to that sound. And this is true because of the evolution. As per modern science speaks, we are all fearful of safety. We want to keep ourselves safe. It's also true according to the Vedas, because Krishna had to keep some some totem, something by which he can pull us back to reality. So the verse that 2.16, it says is nasato vidyate bhavo na bhavo vidyate satah bayorapi drishtvantas tvanayos tattvadarshibhi. he gives this, he says that Tattva, how do you know who is seeing the truth and what is really true? And he says this, Nashato Vidyate Abhava. Abhava means unreal, something that is changing. So if something is changing, something doesn't endure, then you should know that is unreal. And na bhavo, and something doesn't change, something doesn't get influenced by the power of time, then you should know that aspect is true, that aspect is real. Just like our bodies energies may keep changing. When we are young, there is so much energy. As we get old, the energy reduces. Our
True.
our palate, our amount of food that we want to eat, that changes. But our desire to want to become happy, that
Right.
doesn't change. The way we want to become happy may change, and our desire to know about life, to know about our curiosity. We may be curious in childhood about neighboring kids. Now we are maybe curious about how to make money, or how can I grow my network. But so the curiosity change, the area of curiosity changes, but curiosity remains. And same with our desire to want to have stability, that we all want to be in a stable platform. Nobody wants to just unsettle us. Nobody wants to just be in a very insecure situation. And that's what Gita says is this Sat, Chit and Ananda. Sat is that element of stability that we all seek for. But in this world where everything is constantly changing, as in the Bible it says, build your house on the rock, not on the sand, because sand gets influenced by the waves of time, but rock is not changed. So if you build your foundation of relationships, if you build your foundation of business, if you build anything on the basis of reality, then that things are going to go long for a long time. And we see in the business world also, those who have focused on core principles, those who have strong principles in their lives, for their companies, they are able to endure, rather than those just that focus on profits, that those just focus on things that are not in their control.
Right. Right.
As Simon Sinek says, that if you focus on the people that are responsible for the products, then your products will grow in exponentially. But if you just focus on
Right.
the products, that the results that you want, then they are ephemeral. They are not something that are with you. But the people that
Right.
are with you are where you have to focus and invest. So so this verse is that gauge, that barometer by which we can see that am I basing my life on illusory platforms, on things that are not in my control, things that can change because of external situations, or am I basing my happiness, my evaluation of life on eternal principles that Krishna speaks in the Gita? And when we do this, and when we start to do this exercise constantly, and that's when we start to come out of illusions, perceptions. And is it that I am thinking this way, I'm angry? This story is told that once a lady, she was constantly complaining about her neighbors, saying that the neighbors don't know how to wash their clothes. See, their clothes are so muddy and so dirty. And she used to show the husband. And one day, the husband, she was surprised that the neighbor's clothes were very clean. And she told the husband that, hey, did they change their washing machine? What happened that the neighbor's clothes look so clean? And then the husband said, today I cleaned our windows. And and so all through this, because she was looking from a perception that was clogged, that was motivated, she was never able
Right.
to see the reality. But
Right.
when we are able to come out of our glasses, come out of our perceptions, and try to see what is truly reality, rather than put biases on people, put people into boxes, then we'll be able to truly value and truly connect with everything that we are doing.
That's wonderful, Prabhuji. But it is very true that we have to clear our glasses, in order to have a clear vision, and not to judge the vision, but our glasses. We should see, how and like this brings this, also brings that point in my mind where I had where often this example is given that the spiritual world and in our world, we are covered with it's like a mirror, and it's covered with dust. The time we clean the dust on top of us, we can clearly reflect back, we can clearly see what's there, what's the true reality. And that's what Maya is like. The dust is the Maya. The time we are sincere, we are disciplined, we focus on the permanence of God, his light, his wisdom, his energy. We take his name, we do japa, and that's how we connect. And gradually the dust starts to go away, and we have a much clearer vision and clearer picture of what's true, what's real. And that's so true, Prabhuji. However, reaching that level is not very easy, because a lot of people, they wanna know the truth. They want to know that, okay, how everything is functioning. They want all the knowledge in the world, but the thing is that they don't want to work, that they don't want to be in discipline. That's what majorly I've seen. I'm not blaming anyone, I'm just saying that it takes a certain amount of discipline and constant focus, that okay, you have to practice that constant awareness. And probably I had this question that in my show also, when I got the opportunity to play Krishna, I was saying this line that हमारा चयन ही हमारा भविष्य निर्धारित करता है, हमारी नियति निर्धारित होती है उससे, मतलब our choices make our future. Okay, so is it that we are creating our own future, and is it, there was also a line in when he is explaining in the movie, when the guy is explaining that, okay, how our subconscious works, that we are creating it, we are perceiving it, and we are in the middle of it. We are the audience also. Okay, and whereas it is said in Bhagavad that God is the director, God is the actor, and God is the audience also. Okay, and to understand this aspect, it's not very easy. You need a certain level of consciousness to be able to relate to such kind of, perceive such kind of reality. So what do you have to say? Like, are we creating ourselves? In fact, in Bible also, I've heard many times saying that I have made you in my image. Okay, and we all are part and parcel of God. That comes down to the same thing. It's almost rhyming together, merging together, has almost the same kind of meaning. So is it we are creating this construct around us? I've also heard where people say that, okay, if you think negative, negative things will happen. If you think positive, positive things will happen. It is medically also shown and proven, that, okay, if we are full of negativity, our body suffers, and then, we give back that energy in different forms to other people, and then they react to it. So you are living in a bad world. So these are choices. So is it really like that, or are we like victimizing ourselves that, oh, maine to kuch kiya nahi, I didn't do anything, why am I going through so much of suffering? What is the reality in this?
Well, an excellent question from the that the movie also puts up very strongly to all of us. And this aspect about, am I creating my choices? Am I the one, or am I being directed by divine, or am I being directed by some other force, like other religions have Satan that is influencing? So just like when we are driving on a bike, now there is another seat on the back, and if somebody is sitting there, the whole steering is in your hands. But if that person is powerful or you are weak, then what happens is that you come under his dictation, his influence, and then you are just driven by him. And
Right.
same with our mind. When our minds are not strong, then we are not able to, or when our minds are not guarded or pure, then we are not able to truly make our choices, but we become influenced by others that are stronger than our minds. And all this, we are constant, like a absorbers, like a sponge. We're constantly taking in information, taking in data, and that's how we become aware of this world. But awareness, if it starts to become impressions, if it starts to become your perception, that yes, some TV reporter in one news channel may tell that this is what has happened, and you start to assume that, or constantly on your social media posts, there's constant bombardment that how one particular party is bad, or how this is the reality. And just like currently COVID, now in India, if you just go out of your street, of the temple, you see that it's not that bad.
Yeah,
But
everything is normal there.
but if you open news websites, if you open internet, then it's such a scary situation that it is put, that you just think, oh my God, I can't. There is strains coming from Dubai, there is strains coming from Africa, there's strains coming from everywhere, and even the vaccines that are invented, they are not good enough, and such. You just go into such a paranoia, and then you go, and so some part of it may be true, and part of it may be motivated like by some vaccine companies, as some articles are coming up. So we have to be very well guarded, that our drive to be aware, to be our curiosity to know about the world, doesn't start to influence our minds, and we start to perceive what somebody else is perception as reality. Therefore, usually it is said that whenever there is a conflict, hear both sides of the story, because there is his story, there is her story, and then there is the story. and 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 each one may be true from one particular perspective. Someone will be confident, and somebody will be concerned. Just like sometimes the mother may be concerned that the child should not go out, he may get, but the father wants him to go out so that because he is confident that yes, his immunity will develop. And there is this constant fight in families amidst, should I be confident, or should I be conservative, should I be try to be very close minded, not to
Right.
be safe, even with our careers. Should I take the
Yeah.
risk and just jump? Yes, I will be affected with
Right.
a lot of insecurities, or should I just be in my cozy zone? Now, either of
Right.
that is not right. We are constantly in this paradox. To be selfish, because selfish,
Right.
you have to take care of yourself. That is important. But you also are part of a society. You can't be totally selfless. So there is this paradox that we live in.
Right.
Of being confident, of being concerned, of being selfish, of being selfless. So we have to in this whole difficult situation, the only thing that can truly guide us is someone who has the full picture, something that knows the full way out. And that's where the
Right.
scriptures, they come into picture, because they know the proper script of the life to be lived. And if we just follow that script, we'll be able to get scathe free. We'll be able to get out scar free, or as minimal as
Right.
possible. But instead of that, Krishna says that mat chitta sarva durgani mat prasada tarishasi. Krishna says that if you just follow my advice, very soon you will come out of all the difficulties that you're facing. They will
Right.
develop clarity, or at least if the struggles don't subside, at least you will get the strength to face those struggles and grow out of that, rather than
Right.
drown in that. But if you
Right.
just follow your own whims, what you think is best for your life, and not follow a standard protocol. If someone wants to
Right.
fly a plane, he has to listen to the air traffic system so that he can
Right.
take off in a safe way and doesn't have a middle clash. If he just thinks the steering of my plane is in my hands, I just don't need to hear anyone. Yes, the responsibility is upon us, but we have to not consult with the authorized systems and then make our choices in the proper way.
Right.
That
Right.
way
So,
we'll be guarded from influences that
right.
constantly people are trying to take advantage.
So what I can understand of is that there is an inner world in us, okay, and there is an outer world, okay. Whereas in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna also says that, and we have heard this multiple times, and especially all those people who are aspiring spiritual people, uh, we get to hear that I am a soul, I'm not a body. Okay, now uh, it's not as easy as said and done. Okay, it is difficult to relate that, okay, I'm just a soul, I'm not this body. Okay, whereas if you just take a straight example, there are people, that who don't have limbs, who don't have eyes, and they are still functioning. They can still, communicate in some way or other. And they don't have one body part or one other organ or a kidney, or something is not there, something is less, something is more, but still they are functioning. So that definitely gives me a absolute clear picture that, okay, we are not our body, there is something deep inside, that is what we are. Absolutely understood. But what happens is, in the Maya, in the construct or the matrix, is that we are constantly bombarded with this also, that this is who you are. Okay, we are made believe that, okay, you are a loser or you are a winner, or you look good or you look bad, or you are rich or you are not rich, you are tall, you're short, you're dark, you're white, blah blah blah, all that thing. But within, Krishna says, I remember one of the shlokas where he says, Nainam chindanti shastani nainam dahati pavaka na chainam kledan tapuna shosti maruta ki na atma, तुम आत्मा हो, और आत्मा अजर है, उसको ना काटा जा सकता है, ना जलाया जा सकता है, ना गीला किया जा सकता है, तो इतनी सारी चीजें, so this is what you are truly. Okay, and just relate to that. Is there is a mechanism, or is there is like a constant reminder that how can we be in that zone where we don't get pulled away with Maya, because the clutches of Maya are so strong that you get bewildered. When share market goes down, you are like, oh my god, the heart rate goes up. Okay, when you lose money, heart rate goes up. When something bad happens, you are like, oh my god. So we feel victimized. Is that, what is the answer to the, how can we come out of this victimization zone? Because we all see people around us, and a knowledgeable person like you, you know uh, uh, and who is well versed with the scriptures, with holy scriptures, where they tell you how to untangle yourself. But whereas everybody cannot have that much knowledge, in today's fast paced world, what suggestion would you like to give? There are a lot of fans of mine, so you are the authority for them. What would you suggest that, what can they do to be centered in themselves and know that, okay, no, they are Atma, don't be affected by outer circumstances. How can we do that?
Wow. Thank you. The I'm the discussion for this is the third chapter of the Gita, the aspect of how do I work in this world so that I don't become bonded more, I don't become more and more entangled, but actually, rise to my true level or true reality. Uh, we all have. This is it's a sentence that needs to be understood very well. That a dream cannot be left in the middle.
Right.
A dream cannot be left in the middle.
The same
And
situation was in the movie too.
yes,
Otherwise
and,
they will drop dead.
and yeah, every dream that we have is because of a desire, because of our of our identity wanting to achieve something that we are dreaming, that we are desiring that.
Right.
And just like currently, if you are hungry, can you think of something other than food? It's difficult. And so therefore, the best way is that you know eat the food, you have your meal, and then you start to think that why is it that I am becoming hungry so many times, or is the hunger that I am having, is it good? But if you try to analyze that without giving the meal to the body will not help you in that. The body will uh, keep demanding. Just so same way with the thirst. So there is a healthy fulfillment that we need to have in our dreams so that we can let go of our dreams. That the ego needs to experience that safety in connection to reality. That hey, it is God that is actually fulfilling my dreams, and when I dream for something and bring God into my dreams and make God as the center of my dreams, then the fulfillment that I feel, I slowly start to transit from fulfilling feeling fulfillment from the desire to the God that is fulfilling the desire. And then you start to feel I don't need to desire any other thing. Actually, what I need is God. I
Right.
thought I need God to fulfill my desire, just like the story of Dhruva. He thought he needs God so that he could fulfill his desire. But
Right.
in that pursuit, so he brought God into his dream, into his desire, and that's what is karma yoga. But as you start to do your work ethically in the proper way that Gita says, slowly your fulfillment, your satisfaction shifts from the results to the activity itself, and then to the person who is giving you the strength to do that activity, that is God. And once you start to complete your dream, be true to your to the responsibility that you have taken, then just like a fed man can not think of food, say a fulfilled man will not be so concerned about the body, because now his fulfillment, vishaya vidivartante raso varjam, that once he has tasted God in his dream, now he wants to seek that God in reality, and then that's when he wakes up. Just like we are drinking water in the dream. No matter how
Right.
much we drink water, you kind of get a semblance of fulfillment of thirst, but you actually have to get up and then drink real water, even if it is half glass. You feel, hey, this is what I was actually
Looking
dreaming
for.
for. So when you
Right. Right.
get that uh, understanding because of some experience in the dream, in fulfilling our dream, then that's when you start to come to reality. And so therefore the body that we have is there for a reason. It has been given, the life that we have is a gift that has been given to us because of some dream that we had in some life. Now we have to use it to fruition, to please the person, to please God who has given you all this. And in that
Right.
pursuit, then the awakening starts to happen. And that's what is the whole
Right.
message of the Gita, that the transition doesn't happen by giving up the dreams, but by fulfilling the dreams by keeping God in the center.
Very true. Very true, Prabhuji. That's very nicely explained. And this also brings me to this. This thought comes to my mind where it says that everything is in me and I am in everything. That is what Krishna says one instance. कि सब कुछ मेरे भीतर है और मैं सबके भीतर हूँ. That everything is in Krishna. So then when you think, literally when you think like that this whole universe is into Krishna, and then there is nothing separate from him. You think that okay, this phone is also him, the person I'm talking to him, then everybody is in him, but we all are on a different level of consciousness, rising out of this dream. So for me, when I try to do my work or anything, I try to see God in everything, in my karma, in my bhakti, in my yoga, in my workout. everywhere. So that is how I try to keep remind
That's
myself that no.
that's the way. That's the way. That's what is.
Right. Because
Yes.
everything becomes God. Like, even mobile also becomes God for you. Everything should remind you of Him. And when you think of God, then you think of positive things, and you think that, oh my God, I need to stick to my script, which God has given me in the scriptures. And that script, as you said, is the script to be followed. And that's how we can come out of this duality and come to that one reality, which is true for and equal for everyone. So
So good. Yes, Prabhu. I think we should take some questions now.
yes, I
I'm
was
seeing a
just
lot of
coming down to that. Yeah.
in the chat. Many are too eager to. Some are eager for
Yeah,
questions.
yeah. So I would like to invite, a few people whoever would want to ask a question. Um, okay, so yeah, you can. I think can they type their question on this thing? Okay, so Vivek Thaparia.
Yeah. Hi, this is Vivek.
Yeah.
Thank you for this wonderful session. Typing would be a little hard for us because it will be a long question. The question is
Yes, Vivek.
like what you were explaining a couple of minutes back, that do your karmas and do things, but also at the same time we also say that what we do is just what our things are, but ultimately everything is being controlled by God, and it's what is pre-written. Like, no, that's your destiny. You are just one of the things which are going around there. So everyone is playing its own part, but ultimately the director has already directed the entire thing. So so what is actually right? I mean, how do we take this on?
See, thank you, Vivekji, for asking this. Just like when you put on Google Maps, point A to point B, it shows you a whole step-by-step instructions, and so that's guiding you. But if you choose to take some other street, then your destiny, your steps changes. Now Google, yes, but no matter what you select, it's all under the purview of the Google Maps. And same way, so in the macro arrangement, you can just like for your children, you give them a space, but still that they'll never go beyond that space. So God is not a micromanager, a helicopter parent, where he's constantly not choosing, asking you to take steps. You have to do this way, this way. So God gives us space, but a space just like a kite with a control, with with a monitoring. So that in case you need help or you call for help, he's there. And if you do take some wrong choices, he'll always be there suggesting you not to take those choices, not to make those choices. So therefore, God has to have this, gives us this fine balance between giving space and also giving us, and also wanting to help us, because love means to give freedom. And if God doesn't give us the freedom to make our choices, then the relations that we have will be very superficial and if not robotic. And God doesn't want to live with robots. He wants to be with real people that truly want to choose him rather than have to be with him. And so therefore it is it is perfectly his will that he has given us the will to execute our choices, but it is a very micro things that you can not just jump to the moon. You have to make slow and steady changes. Then so it's the same way the destiny or karmas can be changed in a very small and steady steps. And so that freedom he has given us, but at the same time he is not micromanaging, and everything is pre-written. Everything is pre-written. Till now what you have done, as per the actions, your momentum, your direction is decided. But if you choose to change your momentum, if you choose to change your direction, then your destiny will, because now the current action is gets added to your action, your karma. So therefore this theory of karma is not fatalism, that everything is predestined, that I can't just do anything with my own mission. But because of the past momentum that we have, if I'm in Bombay, I've chosen to come to Bombay. If I want to go to, say, Kolkata, it will take time because I've come far away from that place. So the time is because of the direction that we have taken, but we can always choose to go in the right direction. And by through small steps, we can change our destiny.
Okay, Prabhuji, there is another question by Chaya. She says, is God's decision as important in our desires and our destiny?
Is God decision is important in our desires and our destiny? Yes, if you want to be happy. If you want to be truly happy, if you want to have stability, if you want to have peace of mind, if you don't want people to influence, and you don't want to be a kind of a product of other people's desires, you want to have a life of freedom, of happiness, of growth, then that's where the aspect. So God comes to help us deal with our struggles, and so choices to us about that.
Okay. Is there any more questions? You can type it on the chat. Yeah, Gaurav says hi. Yes, you can type your questions here. No, you can just type it.
Gaurav wants
like.
to ask some question, I think.
Okay, can you unmute the host?
Gaurav, you want to unmute yourself?
Jai Shri Krishna, Guruji.
Jai Shri Krishna.
Sir, I am a college student.
Yeah.
It's a general question for my life. That if there was my friend, so there was a fight between us. So every time when he passes in front of me, so there is a negative vibes coming out from her. So how I can handle this situation? That I try to keep I try to be positive, but every time I see him, there is a negative aura, negative vibes. So how to deal with it, sir?
Just like our bodies have immunity levels, our mind also has some immunity levels, and we just like body cannot deal with any infection that goes around. We have to protect ourselves if we don't have the proper immunity. Same way, just can't deal with any negativity that comes around. So first thing is introspect and see, is the negativity that's coming, is it my own perception or is it truly there? The one story that I heard which always inspires me is one daughter-in-law was so angry at her mother-in-law, she literally wanted to kill her through some slow medicine. And then the doctor, who he gave her a slow medicine and told her that because you're giving her this slow medicine, be nice to her so that nobody suspects you when she dies after 6 months. And then within 2 months, the daughter-in-law came running back to the doctor saying that my mother-in-law has changed now. She's so nice. So can you give me an antidote for that medicine, for that poison that you gave? And then the doctor said that that was not a poison that I gave. The poison was actually in your mind, your perceptions, that person. Because most people need some space. And most people have some kind of expectations. So whenever we try to don't respect other people, like there is line of control, LOC, same way there is a line in relationship. No matter what kind of relationship is there is always a line that we shouldn't cross. And when we cross that line, that's when people blast out. So when we have that respect for that person, and so that's the first thing that we should do. Is it because of some act that I did that I'm perceiving this, or is it the perception that I'm having? Then the second is try to do something to rectify it. Most as it is said that most people, they just are influenced by the way we behave. And if we have that strength, and therefore the strength to do all this comes from connecting to God. Because when we connect to God, we get the strength to deal in this world. And so that's the second step, that yes, try to do something so that that person, if and the third thing is that if that person is not a very essential element in your life, then don't need to just drain all your energy in trying to win this combat and lose the war of life. So be very conscious of where you want to invest your energy, because you can't please everyone all the time. There will be people that will be upset with you. So therefore, choose what kind of people, what kind of association do you want to get influenced by, and choose the right circle if you can. So if you follow these 3 steps, I'm sure the situations will improve.
Wow. That's truly a great insight, especially the story which you told about the daughter-in-law and the mother-in-law. That's very true. That most of the time the poison is in our mind and not it's our own perception, and most of the time it's not others. It's usually us. And if we correct ourselves, the outside world will automatically correct itself. That is so true, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
So I guess
ultimately
this,
we have to be true to God, and if we are true in our attempts, then whether the other person is pleased or not, we please him, and then if we please
right.
him, our life is a success.
Very true. So I guess this brings us to the end of this session. There are so many questions, and questions will never end. Even I can also go on and make this session into a 10-hour session and keep discussing.
Yes,
but Prabhuji, like talking to you, and like uh, I look at the destiny, and it's so funny that we connected from different, 2 different sides of the world. And that side it's night, and here it's daytime now. It's so crazy that how this world functions. And but I'm so grateful to you, Prabhuji, that for your spiritual insight, for your guidance, and guiding all the souls, because such wonderful souls like you, and those souls who are organizing such kind of event, and those souls who are attending these events, it's because of this association. We spread the word, the positivity of God, of light. And by doing this, by changing our own consciousness, we change the world around us, and we make this world a better place. That's what I firmly believe, Prabhuji. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
that's so true, Prabhu. Thank you.
Yeah, but
so
thank you so much, Prabhuji. Yeah.
You're coming out of the dream. It's a day for you, and most of us going to go into a dream. But hopefully, we'll dream of reality, of being well, forgiving people in our dreams, and that may be an exercise that we can think of and do that. So,
right.
So my great pleasure, having this session with you, especially. Hare Krishna.
And Hare Krishna, and thank you so much to all my fans and to all the wonderful people for coming here and joining this wonderful session. And thank you for your time. May Krishna bless your life with abundance, prosperity, and guide you throughout. And thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you so much, Neha. Thank you, everyone. Thank you to all the hosts for this thing. Thank you, Yogesh Uncle. Thank you for everything.
We would like to take suggestions for our next discussion. Which movie would you all like to discuss upon, ponder upon? So please put that in your suggestions before you log off. If you think of something, or later on Insta, you can always post on Pavitra.
Okay. All right, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Any announcements from the team, from the whole?
Thank you, Prabhuji. We're looking forward to the next movie. And we'll tell you all the posts which come in, which movie, then you can select.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Okay. Thank you.